Here we go, everybody. It's me, Robin. I have a bad cold, so excuse my weird voice. In fact, it's very hard to talk, so what I'm going to do for you is I'm not going to miss my every Tuesday promise. I'm just going to keep it short, and then I'm going to plug in an old episode. I already know what I want to share with you, and because I know the reading I want to share, just because I miss it, and I know you guys all love it. So I'm going to put that in there. And in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody for being here and for being my friend. I had a very exciting start to the week, even though I was very under the weather when I posted. But when I posted on my Substack, which you can find by just, well, I'll put the link in the description, or search for my name, ROBYNONEIL, on Substack, I was having a lot of fun drawing on postcards and sending some mail out. And I thought, anybody who's a paid subscriber should get a free drawing, a postcard-sized drawing. And so I said, anybody who subscribes as a paid subscriber, whether it be monthly or yearly, I am going to send you a little drawing. And so the deadline is going to be this Friday, which is, let's pull that up, Friday, the 1st of November. Noon Pacific time. So if you haven't already subscribed as a paid subscriber and you want a drawing, do that by Friday at noon, and I will send you something by the end of November. I had a lot more people, I had a lot more people sign up for that than I thought. And so I'll be a busy person getting these drawings out. But I figure, since I've been very open and vulnerable about what I've been going through, it's a nice chance. Excuse the voice, honestly. This is too much talking. But I just want you to know that it's a really special thing for me to do. And I'm happy if it makes anybody else happy. But on my end, I need to ease into being an artist again, and I need to feel free and open to do whatever I want. And this seems like the best way to do that and to be held accountable, because I've promised you guys drawings. And also, I've said this many times on the podcast. Anybody who's listened from the beginning knows that my dream job has always been to make presents for people for a living. I always thought, that kind of defeats the purpose of it being for a living, but is there something I can think of to do where I make a living by making presents for people? And I'm getting closer and closer to that every day. And this postcard drawing thing is sort of an entree into this new world that I'm creating for myself. So I'm really excited. There's going to be more to come. So again, subscribe to Substack, whether you want the postcard or want to pay or can pay. It doesn't matter. If you're on the Substack, you'll get the announcements for that. And if I can get well, I will be announcing a new kind of business venture that I'm doing here starting in November. I think it'll probably be mid-November now rather than early. Anyway. Oh, gosh. That's about it. I'm going to give you guys one of my favorite readings. I don't even know if I'm going to listen to this podcast. Who the hell knows what I'll be talking about? All I know is I love the movie American Movie, the documentary. It is up there. As I've always said, it's my favorite film of all time. And the reading I do from that film is it's just very resonant with me. It's just, to me, it's the most emotional, beautiful ending. Well, I'll shut up because I'm sure I'm going to talk about it in this podcast. And I just can't waste my voice right now. I mean, not that I'm wasting it on you guys, but I can barely talk. I had to take a long time, a lot of hot tea just to get some words out. So I'll leave you guys alone for this week, but I sure do love you guys, and I hope all is well in your worlds. And happy Halloween. I love a Halloween week. This is a fun week. I have a lot of Halloween decorations out. We have a bunch of skeletons, big ones, little ones. They're everywhere, all in the front of the house, outside of the house, on the deck, on the porch, hanging above the stove. And they're all named Nate. Nate, Nate. All right, you guys, I'll be back next week, hopefully sounding and feeling much better. I send you my blessings. I send you my love. I send you all good things and this wonderful reading from the great film, American Movie. All right, take care, you guys.
Hey guys, how the hell are ya? My name is Robin. I'm here with my email intern today, David from Hawaii, although he doesn't want to talk. And frankly, I don't really want him to talk that much anyway, because this is my show. This is me reading stuff. You know, we here, David and I, have been brainstorming ideas for a new contest at Me Reading Stuff. The last one was absolutely out of control, fun and hilarious. And of course, our two winners, David Drury and the mysterious M, have gone on to fame and fortune. So I'd like to revisit the fun of the contest soon. For those of you who are just tuning in and weren't around in the early days for the contest we did, I was looking up E.E. Cummings online, and I did a Google image search, and I kept seeing photos of Channing Tatum pop up, and I thought, that's strange. Why is this happening? And as I researched, some people thought E.E. Cummings looked like Channing Tatum and something like that. God, I don't even remember. And then, I thought that it said that there were secret Channing Tatum erotic poems written, like that he was going to release a book. Channing Tatum, that is. Turned out they were talking about E.E. Cummings, but that confusion got me excited, and so I asked my listeners at Me Reading Stuff to write their own erotic poetry as if they were Channing Tatum. So I should have put a book together. Honestly, why didn't I? I'm sure a lot of you told me to, and I just was like, yeah, cool, and then went about my business. But I really should have, now that I'm thinking about it, because I had such weird, funny entries. Well, anyway, if you guys have any ideas for what my next contest should be, send them David's way. His email is mereadingstuff@icloud.com. And until I launch a new contest, just know I'm thinking of you all, wishing you well, loving you, laughing on the inside, maintaining my usual low physical energy level, aggravated mid-range mental energy level. They're mid to high. They were mid earlier today. They're getting high as that coffee's pulsing through my veins. My hands are very calloused right now and covered in graphite. My eyes are bloodshot for some reason. My hands also smell like dryer sheets because I made my own air freshener last night. I did a little craft project. Oh my God, I'm on Pinterest for the first time and I'm embarrassed about it. But I have been loving little dumb projects. It keeps my mind off of it just makes me calmer. Anyway, I'm staring out windows still. That's what I do. And I'm talking to you. And I want to read you poems. So, okay, what box are we going to open today? I'll tell you what. I have something extra special for today's reading because it's not from a book at all. And it's also not from a writer anyone's ever really heard of. It's a prime example of my experience with real life poetry that I'm always talking to you guys about. And for any newcomers out there, how do I explain this? One of my goals with this podcast is to demystify poetry and prove that it's not at all this specialized, elitist art form only for the select few. I just want to aim to show as many people as I can just how everywhere poetry is. And so I often talk about on here, when you catch a beautiful line from a ranting homeless lady, or if your DMV clerk accidentally slips into some story about her ex-boyfriend and his recipe for maple scones. The thing is, people put words together in remarkable ways, and I want us all to love that as much as I do. That's right. That's how I am. I don't like to be alone in my ardor. Who the hell does? Anyway, but I'm really big on that. Like, I get so excited when I hear people just kind of launch into things. You should see my eyes get big, and I'm kind of trying to take mental notes and remember every detail. Well, anyway, here's what I'm reading from today. That was a big lead up. Jesus, sorry. In 1999, a brilliant documentary came out called American Movie. This is a documentary by Chris Smith about an aspiring filmmaker in Milwaukee. that named Mark Borchardt. That's a simple way to describe it, but I can't recommend it more forcefully. It has remained in my top 3 favorite films of all time since it came out, and there's nothing about it that I don't love. I find no fault with it. And before I launch into it, I want to let you know that in the description of this podcast, you will find links to where you can purchase this film. And I'll also link this one section of the film because it's on YouTube in a couple of different places if you're interested. And to back up a little bit, Mark Borchardt is throughout the course of the documentary trying to secure funds to make the horror movie he's been trying to make for years and years and years. And one of the people he is sort of begging to get money from, is his uncle who's in his 80s. His name's Uncle Bill Borchardt. And that's who wrote this little piece. I wouldn't say, he wrote it. He said it. He just kind of, they're talking back and forth at the very end of this film. And they're talking about dreams and about what happens if you attain your dreams. And Uncle Bill, being in his early to mid 80s, is just kind of exhausted with thinking about goals and dreams. And suddenly you can see him catch this moment of inspiration, I guess. And then he launches into this soliloquy. And he's not reading anything. He's just saying this. And I don't have words for how glorious this moment is, but here are the words that he said. Oh, come again, stay a while, stick around a while, stick around as long as you can. Heaven help you, God help you, Jesus help you, everybody else help you, everybody make everybody happy, be a comedian. And that's it. And at that moment, he hangs his head down and kind of shakes it. And that's the end of the film. And then, sorry to give the spoiler alert, sorry. And then there's text that flashes up saying that Uncle Bill died 2 weeks after that moment. So I really, really, really can't tell you how important that's been to me, that scene. Something about it strikes me as one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. I used to end all of my lectures with it. Some of you, I know who listen, were there for those days. I think I did that for about 4 years straight. Probably, I don't know for what reason exactly, but I did. All right, you guys, listen up. I'm going to beg one of you, and you know who you are. And I need you to get on iTunes, hop on, write me a review, please. Even if you hate me, I want to hear it. Please, I haven't had a review in over a month. I would love it if you could do that. I want to thank all of you guys for reaching out. I want to thank all of you guys for supporting and understanding my monastic May. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, taking May off. A lot of things have been occurring to me, and I just needed a break from almost everything. So this is one of the few things that make the cut in May. It's like you guys, a pencil, my cat, coffee, salads, end it. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you again on Monday. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, guys, I'm back. I know that creeps you out. Occasionally, I'll come back at the end after the exit music. And every time I do, I usually get an email or two saying, you really freaked me out. Because a lot of times you guys are listening on your headphones and you know how it is when a podcast fades out and then all of us this doesn't happen that often, except when I do it. And you think it's over and then all of a sudden the person's talking to you. You think you're hallucinating. Well, anyway, I just listened to that while I was editing this podcast for you guys. And That was so interesting for me. I've had a lot of messages from people who have been, new listeners since I stopped recording. And then they've been happy and in shock that I'm coming back because they were thinking, oh, she's done. I don't know if this is making sense. But anyway, I have some emails from some people who, over the last year have listened to all the episodes from 9 years of podcasts or whatever. And so I have been kind of curious. What did it used to sound like? What has changed? And I think I sound pretty much like myself. But I took a couple of notes. I just want to say a few things. Number one, that was from May of 2016. I don't think I mentioned that, if anybody is curious. And this reminded me, I don't know whatever happened of this, but somebody who was trying to create a Harry Dean Stanton museum reached out to me after I posted that episode and said they wanted to use it for the museum. And my recording of the Uncle Bill monologue. And I'm very curious to see if that ever happened. So I'm going to look into that if anybody knows anything. And then I found it very sad because I heard me say, I don't know why, but I have really red eyes right now. And I know what that was. That was called uveitis, but I didn't know it at the time. And that was my body flaring up, and it was the beginning of what ended up causing all of my eye problems and why I had to have retina surgery this past year. So that was sort of interesting. And when I said something about calloused hands, excuse me, about having calloused hands and it was graphite all over my hands, I was so happy because you guys heard last week's episode or whenever I was talking about, I just want that again. I want that feeling. Oh, I know. Yeah, that reading I did from my Substack. So that was kind of cool to know. I don't know. I don't know if it was cool or sad, but it was something. I want to be there again. Maybe making all these postcards for you guys will get me there. And then I also wanted you guys to know that it was fun to think about the contests I used to do. And if you guys have any other ideas for contests you would like to be a part of through me reading stuff, let me know. I will give you guys like real deal drawings. Even on Robin's Gate, we did a contest and I gave a real drawing, like in a frame and everything. I can't always give them in frames, but excuse me. I have plenty of things sitting around here that I can, release. Things I was planning on keeping, but as I get up there in age, I'm like, what am I keeping these for? So anyway, I mean, they were supposed to be for a retirement fund, so I probably should still keep them, but I still want to give some. Anyway, I'm going on and on. And, and it was fun to hear David Drury's name because I had met him through the podcast, and he's still a very close friend. In fact, he's one of the only people I had any contact with during the time that I was very mentally unwell. And so, hello, David Drury. I love you. I still love you. I'll always love you. He's one of my good friends. And it was nice to hear and remember that we met because he won that Channing Tatum poetry contest. And oh, what an entry it was. Go ahead and search the Me Reading Stuff archives if you want to hear it. It was so good. The last thing I'll say is I loved that podcast was under 10 minutes like it used to be. So I get varying answers about that. Like some people just want me to talk and talk and talk. And other people are like, no, that 10-minute thing was good. I think I'm edging towards keeping them small. So we'll see what I'll do. If you guys have any opinions, go ahead and reach out. You can reach me at info@robinoneal.com. And I'm working on getting back to you guys. I'm doing better about my emails, but we'll figure that out too. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for being here this week. Again, check out my Substack. Let's get you guys some drawings and let's get me some calloused hands and no red eyes. All right. I love you guys. Have a good week. Bye-bye.